Hi guys, this is Python lecture series 14. We are going to discuss copy and clone. So what is copy? Through assignment operator. So it creates a reference to the original object. So changes in one object reflects in another. Another method is cloning. Here it creates another independent copy of the list. So changes in one object will not reflect in another. So to clone a list, we can use these two techniques. One is copy method. Another one is slicing method. So we will see Python code examples for these copy and clone. Let us see Python code to copy and clone list. So here we have created a list with the name A and the elements are 4, 6, 7, 9. So when you assign like this B is equal to A, the B will create a reference to the list A. That means whatever the change you make it in A, it will also reflect in B, and whatever the change you make it in B, it will also reflect in A. So that is the copy through assignment operator. Next, you are copying through slicing operator, that is C is equal to A, and you are using the slicing operator to copy the list A to the C. But here it will create a independent copy that is stored in C, so that the change in one will not affect the another. Like that, the third method D is equal to A dot copy, that is using a copy method. This is also creating a another independent object, so that the changes in one will not affect another. So that way, these second and third, we can call it as a cloning the list. That means we are creating a new object. Then if you print A, B, C, D, now it will print only the same 4, 6, 7, 9. So I am making a change. A of 0 is equal to 10. So we will see the output, and B of 1 is equal to 11. So these two changes will automatically get reflected in A and B, but not in C and D. So when I print this A, B, C, D list, you can understand the difference between copy and clone. So in the Python code, what we have done here, the first one is just copying the reference, but the second and third, we can call it as cloning the list. Let us see the output of the program. See, initially all the lists are same, 4, 6, 7, 9, but the changes A of 0 is equal to 10 and B of 1 is equal to 11. These two changes automatically get reflected in list A and list B, because we have copied through assignment operator. But what about C and D? It creates an independent copy so that the changes are not reflected here. So we call it as cloning the list. Let us see shallow copy and deep copy in Python. So these two, shallow copy and deep copy, are applicable only for nested list. So in shallow copy, it does not create a copy of nested object, but it copies the reference of nested objects. So changes in the nested sublist will reflect in another. So we are doing it with the copy method. And another one is deep copy, where it creates a new object and it adds the nested objects in original copy. So it is the changes whatever you do it in one object will not reflect in another. So it is done with the deep copy method. Let us see Python code examples for this shallow copy and deep copy. Let us see shallow copy for nested list in Python. So in this code, we have used the statement import copy. That means we are going to use the methods which are associated with the copy. And you have created a nested list A with the two sublist. Okay, the first sublist contains 2 and 5. The second sublist contains 7 and 9. So as we already discussed, if we copy through assignment operator, for example, D is equal to A. So whatever the change you do it in A, it is automatically gets reflected in D, or whatever the change you do it in D, it is automatically gets reflected in A, because when you copy through assignment operator, it doesn't copy the data, it takes the reference to the objects. So that is the one way of copying. The another one is B is equal to copy dot copy of A. That means here we call it as a shallow copy. So that means in this operation, it takes the reference to these two nested sublist to B. So when you print A and B, at this point of time, both are same. And I am making a change in A of 0, 1 is equal to 22. That means 0 refers to the 0th sublist, 1 refers to the first element in the this sublist. Okay, that is 5 will be converted into 22. So now if we print A and B, the change whatever you have done in A, it automatically gets reflected in B also, because B copies the reference to these two sublists. But you should remember that when I add using append statement, A dot append of, I am adding another sublist 943 to the nested list A. In this case, the what you have added at the end as a new sublist will not be reflected in B, because B has copied only the references to already existing sublist in the original nested list A. So when you make changes in these two already existing sublist, it will automatically gets reflected in B also. But when you add a new list, new sublist, it will not get reflected in B. But we should remember that whatever it is done in A, it is automatically gone to D, because we have copied through assignment operator. So if you run this code, see, first you see initially A is equal to 2 and 5, 7 and 9. B is also 2 and 5, 7, 9. When you copy through copy of A, so the change what you have done, this 2 comma 22, this 22 is automatically gets reflected in B also. And next I'm adding a new sublist to A, but that is not getting reflected in B. You see here, it is not included in B, because B has taken only the references to already existing nested sublist. But we should note that in D, the 22 is also changed here, and also the new sublist is also added here. So that is a shallow copy in Python. Let us see deep copy for nested list in Python. So again, we are importing copy, because we are going to use the methods associated with the copy. And again, the same list A with the nested sublist 2 and 5 and 7 and 9. So here I am using the statement B is equal to copy dot deep copy of A. So what does it mean, sir? When you use the deep copy of A, the B will create a separate entity, so that whatever the change you make it in A, it will not reflect in B, and whatever the change you make it in B, it will not reflect in A. That is, B is a totally independent copy of A. So if we print A and B now, both are same, but I am making a change in A, but if you print it, the change will not be reflected in B. And again, I am adding a list at the end, append, okay, adding a sublist at the end to nested list A. Again, this change will not get reflected in B, because B is a totally independent copy of A. So if you run this code, so see here, so initially both are same, 2 and 5, 7 and 9, 2 and 5, 7 and 9. So change you make it in A, that is this 22 is not get reflected in B. And I am adding a new sublist to the nested list A, but this is also not reflected in B, because B is a totally independent copy of A. That is the nature of deep copy.